And so that was a really sort of little 30-second action-packed ad that brought a lot of information out. And the most recent one was really geared towards the 10th anniversary, and it features a former U.S. Air Force pilot, Dave Gapp, as well as a structural engineer named Stephen Dusterwald from Las Vegas, Nevada, and a correctional officer who in New York, Joey Garofalo, who was a first responder. He was at Ground Zero for the first few weeks after 9/11, and he's a leader within the first responder community today. One of the issues that he was very, very outspoken about a few months ago was the fact that the James Zadroga bill was not going to be covering cancer, even though a study had just come out showing that first responders who were at Ground Zero compared to those in the fire department and police department who weren't, those who were there actually do have a higher, significantly higher rate of cancer. That was what the study showed, and yet the Zadroga was not going to cover those first responders afflicted with cancer. So he was very outspoken on that issue, as well as several others. And so it was a pleasure to have him be in our ad as well. And I personally, for my personal taste, I think the last ad is the strongest because it brought together those people from those diverse backgrounds, and just the way it was cut together, it was very well done. So I encourage you to go watch it at rememberbuilding7.org.
And let me echo that encouragement, because I think the ads that you've put together so far for this campaign, all of the ads, I think, have been really tremendous and just keep getting better. So obviously the money that is being donated to the cause is going to a good use. And as you say, yet again, there's another part of the old media canard that if we question what happened on 9/11, we're doing some sort of disservice to the first responders, who many of them obviously lost their lives, and others that were severely affected by rushing into those buildings that day. But of course, it's the exact opposite. It's the people who have been lying and been perpetrating the conspiracy theory from the beginning, the government officials, Christy Todd Whitman at the EPA and others who have been directly harming the first responders and have been for a long time. So once again, all part of the media fraud. So let's take another few-minute break, and we'll be right back with more about Occupy Building 7 right after this. Corbett Report Radio. Of course, I am your host, James Corbett of CorbettReport.com, and tonight we're talking to Ted Walter of OccupyBuilding7.org. Once again, that's the number 7, OccupyBuilding7.org, which is a new idea for raising further awareness about World Trade Center Building 7, of course, the third skyscraper to fall on 9/11/2001. So, Ted Walter, it's great to have you on tonight to talk about this exciting idea. So I think we should talk about Occupy Building 7 itself and what this idea really is and when and where it's taking place and how people can get involved.
All right, let's do it. It's happening this weekend, November 19th and 20th. That's Saturday and Sunday. It's officially starting at noon at Liberty Plaza, which is where Occupy Wall Street is happening, otherwise known as Zuccotti Park. The idea is to march over both on Saturday and Sunday from Zuccotti Park to Building 7, to the rebuilt Building 7. And there's a park now that is in the footprint of the old building. Because the new building is smaller. It's about maybe 2/3 of the width of the old one that was a controlled demolition. And so there's an open space now where people are going to gather, assemble, and stay there until nightfall, both Saturday and Sunday. And this is really the start of, what we hope will become a sustained occupation. We're looking at this park is really a different animal from Liberty Plaza, because it's not. Liberty Plaza is sort of a unique status where it's a public-private park. The park in front of Building 7 is totally private. And so we have no idea how Silverstein Properties or how the police are going to respond when we get over there, and hopefully we'll have at least a few hundred people going on this action, and so we'll see how they respond. I mean, to me, I think it would be rather drastic and unwise wise on their part to try to push people off. The strategy when people get there it's largely up to them. I think to begin with, we don't want to create a confrontation where people are going to get arrested or people are going to get hurt. Right now we're trying to feel out the situation and see what it's like, see what the response is when they go down there, when they try to occupy for 5 hours in the afternoon. We'll do that Saturday and Sunday, and we'll regroup and see how it went. There's also going to be general assemblies at 2 o'clock each day in the park. So, in front of Building 7. So everybody who's there will get to sort of participate and, have some say in what direction Occupy Building 7 should take after this weekend. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say it's an excellent idea, and it's certainly great to be taking the energy of the Occupy Wall Street movement and forwarding it into something that really has the potential for true political change, as the WTC7 issue obviously does. And I think you're right to be a bit cautious about the way that the security. Well, I hesitate to use the word goons, but anyone who saw the way Luke Rudkowski, for example, was treated by the WTC7 security back in, I believe, 2007 when he was protesting outside will know just what I'm talking about. But certainly the security forces of the Silverstein minions, who knows how they'll react to this. And, of course, there is strength in numbers, so we need to see a lot of people getting out there in a big way. So, first of all, how can people find out more information about specifically when and where and all of this is happening? And secondly, how about for people who aren't in the New York City area and won't be able to make it? Is there any way they can support what you're doing?
Yeah. First of all, the website is occupybuilding7.org. And you go there, you'll find the details. Again, it's a meeting at 12 o'clock noon on Saturday and Sunday. You can come either or both days. And so it's occupybuilding7.org. If you're in New York, the thing that would be really the most helpful is on the website you'll see that there's a flyer that you can print out. It's a sheet of paper, 8.5 by 11, that has 6 separate flyers on it that you can cut up. So you can print out like 10 and have 60 flyers and go down to Occupy Wall Street and hand them out. One of the real important aspects of this action is really like reaching out to Occupy Wall Street and getting the people there engaged in this issue. And so flyering at Occupy Wall Street, telling them about the action that's happening this weekend would be a huge help. If you're out of town, I think, it's so based on the actual geographic location. It's literally occupying Building 7. I think the most important thing that you can do is tell any friends that you have, encourage any friends that you have in New York to go, and then spread the word on Facebook. Talk about it. Look for what's going on, and look for it to actually spread. Like people have said, people in other countries have said to us, we want to follow Occupy Building 7. If it starts to grow, we want to have that same day that Occupy Building 7 happen in embassies all over the world, etc. So, I think, spread the word, especially among people in New York, and really stay tuned and just send your positive energy that way, because it really needs to grow. And it will.
Absolutely. As I say, I think strength in numbers is the key here, and they can arrest a handful of people or try to demonize or belittle them, but they can't do it if hundreds or even thousands of people show up. So I think that's the most important part. Finally, I suppose we're all going to need to follow this wherever we are. I'm assuming there will be some YouTube videos. Do you have an official YouTube channel?
Right now, our YouTube channel is still building what. So if you're looking for stuff, you can go there. We haven't. Maybe we'll start a separate Occupy Building 7 channel, or maybe we'll just start putting all that up on Building What.
All right. But for the time being, people can go to occupybuilding7.org. So once again, I hope people do at least check it out and try to find out the information that's there. I think this is an exciting new idea to bring awareness to a very important issue, but that's all the time for Ted. So, Ted, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be right back after this with Fukushima updates.